welcome back. Today we have our first and very special guest, Ellie. Hi, Ellie.
Hi, it's so nice to be here.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Ellie. I'm a robotics engineer. Um, long time watcher, first time caller. I've never done an ASMR collab before, but I'm excited.
Can you, like, right off the top of your head, can you give me one cool fact about robots?
That's so hard. One cool fact about robots. Um, I don't know. What do you want to know about?
Hmm. What what excites you the most about working on robots?
The moment when they start responding. On a certain level, robotics is just puppetry. And on a certain level, VTubing is just puppetry. And I think there's like that magic moment when you first see your VTuber move from your face. And I think it's kind of the same thing with robots. Like the first time you do something and it does something in response, there's just that like moment of connection. I don't know.
Do you have a particular memory in mind where you have experienced that?
I mean, a lot at this point. A lot. I've built a lot of robots in my life. But I'm not sure. The first time it moves. I mean, often if you're working on a bigger project, you won't be there for that moment, right? So there's something kind of special about like high school robotics, when you're a kid and you're working with other kids and you actually get to be there for like the first moment that it works.
Mm-hmm. And how long have you been working in robotics?
Oh god. I mean, I started doing it in like second grade, but it's
Oh my god.
you don't really like you're not building like robots if you're doing robotics in second grade. So I don't know if that should count or not.
I think it counts. I mean, it all goes towards growth and working on bigger things, right? So if you started it in second grade, can you kind of explain to someone who has no idea about robotics what exactly you'd be working on at that young of an age?
I mean, sure. So at that age we were mostly working with like the Lego robotics pieces. Um and there's a lot you can do with just those pieces. So we would be given a challenge basically. For like build something that does this, and then you would
Mm.
be given like a set of like robotics pieces, and yeah, they just set you free, man.
Do you have anything about robotics that you don't enjoy?
um I'm quite weak and I'm quite small, and I really love working on large robots. That's like my passion, is like in construction robotics and manufacturing robotics, but I'm quite small and weak, and I often get very frustrated. I need so much help in terms of like actually, like if something is broken, I might need to call someone over to help me lift it and stuff like that.
Okay, so that leads to like a question that I haven't thought to ask or even has crossed my mind. And listen, if you don't want to answer this, this is really fine. So, in lieu of you needing or wanting to be stronger and you're small, would you ever want like a big, strong partner that was also in robotics? Would that be like your perfect match?
That is crazy. That is crazy. Just started this call and you're just like,
What I just wanted to hop right in because I mean, if I was like super passionate about something like robotics and I was like really small, my brain would be like, how can I make this better? How can I make this work?
oh man, I'll just build a robot that's big to help me.
That's the perfect answer actually. If you could like in the future have a robot as like your other half, Would you do that?
I don't think I'd marry a robot, no. I don't know,
Oh,
though. I mean, if they're indistinguishable from people, then, like, who cares? But, like, I'm not trying to be that guy who married Hatsune Miku.
hey, there's nothing wrong with that guy. That guy was happy as, you know what I mean? He followed his
I
dreams. I
guess,
support
yeah.
that. Okay,
Very fulfilled.
okay, all right. So,
Would you?
would I marry a robot?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? You know, if they made me laugh and could be goofy with me and they were cute, because I'm more of a personality type person. I don't really quite care who you are, what you look like, or identify as. And bro, if you're a robot, then that's all good. I kind of just wish we were there sooner. Maybe, I'd hop on that train real fast.
But what if they're, like, cold and metal? Wouldn't you want someone to be warm? I don't know.
Um, I think that because I have already been in a 9-year relationship and shared bank accounts and owned a
That's
business,
crazy.
and I have lived with my partner and had online relationships. I've been through the ringer. I've lived on my own for about 4 years now.
Wait, is that a relationship you're still in, or was that
No,
a past relationship?
my 9-year relationship was like 4 or 5 years ago now, I think.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I know that's probably
What? No,
the
no,
past, but
no.
that's so crazy to have had a joint bank account.
No, I think we're definitely. By the way, everything I'm saying now is like I've said it out in the open, but
I imagine. Yeah.
no, I think we were just better off as friends. And when I got into the relationship, I was like 21. So I spent my entirety
Wow.
of my 20s being a little bit like young and dumb. You know what I mean? And as I got older and discussions of buying a home were happening, I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So it was a really wonderful learning experience. We're still friends and we still talk. We're like
I'm so
on
glad.
great terms. But so to run it back to the robot question,
Sorry.
uh, I wouldn't mind. Like at this point, I like I said, live alone with 2 dogs and a dragon. And if I had like a robot mate, I'd be fine. I'd be fine.
I I also live alone with a cat. Um, I've never lived with anybody. I mean, I've lived with people. I've had roommates, but I've never like lived with someone.
Oh, so do you feel like nervous or shy, like getting to that point of sharing your space with someone?
I mean, I've only ever I've been on 2 dates ever.
I gotta take a sip of water for that one. Hang on.
I've never had like a relationship. Um, so
So Ellie, do you have any ASMR triggers that you really enjoy?
oh my god, wait, was it that bad? I'm sorry.
No, no. I just no. Hey, I'm just joking.
Because we can move right along. We can go right into tapping. We don't have to. We don't have to discuss that. We can go right into tapping.
No, girl, I will open that right open. That is your call. Like it is, I'm just following your lead. I am absolutely
Oh, you're good.
curious. Oh my
I told you I
gosh.
was an open book. I went to college when I was a baby. I went to college. I don't think I've actually said the number. I went to college when I was 15. Well, university, depending on where you are in the world. But what that meant was like I was way too young to date anybody there. And then when I was in the workforce, I was like too young to date any of my coworkers. But I'm also like a full-time engineer, so I don't really get out much outside of that, except like my hobbies are like entomology and stuff, which there's not a lot of people my age in that hobby. And so yeah, it just hasn't really happened.
Okay. That makes wow. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of questions I have. Okay, let's see. Where do I even start? Well, it seems like you have already been through a lot and you are extremely educated and smart and talented.
I don't know about any of that.
No,
Thank
it's
you.
already a proven fact by that, explanation. But that does make me curious. Are you still in a place in your life where you are focusing on that, or are you starting to wonder, maybe I would like someone else to experience these things with me?
I mean, maybe, like, I guess I'm more open to it than I used to be, but there's also, okay, when you were a kid, did you ever play that game with friends where you, like, push your hands outward and they, like, push your hands inward, you know? And then when they let go, your hands sort of, like, float apart. Like, it just feels like you should still be pushing outward, even though no one's pushing inward anymore.
I don't think I have, no.
Oh, okay, well, and this goes out to people who have. I guess it's sort of like that. It's like, for so many years, if someone did have a crush on me, that was like a problem, you know?
Mm.
That was like, oh no, that's no good.
Mm-hmm.
And so, even still, even now, if someone is like into me that way, if someone is like treating me that way, even though that's like fine and there's nothing wrong with it, I'm just like, get back. Careful, I'm baby.
I see, because that's been something that has been embedded into you like
Yeah.
90% of your life around others. I see.
Mhm. Yeah. So,
Well, even if that is the case, is there a part of you that idea scares you, or are you genuinely like kind of excited?
it's both. It's like, on the one hand, it would be nice, but on the other hand, like, I have no idea what my lifestyle would even look like with another person involved. I have so little time, and, like, I don't know how to explain, like, VTubing or, like, insect taxidermy or, like, to another person. So, it's, I don't know. I just kind of figure that, like, someday it'll happen or it won't.
I I'm still a firm believer that in time the right person comes along, and I used to think, and I still kind of think, that it was always healthier to find someone in your field who understood you, but sometimes I'm starting to wonder if you don't even need that. If you just need someone that loves you for who you are and supports the things that you do and is a
Yeah,
healthy balance with what you need in your life and grows with you, like, period, across the board.
that's beautiful. Oh my gosh.
But I don't know, it might be an ignorant way of thinking because maybe that doesn't exist, but I'm hopeful that it does, I think.
I hope so too. I don't really know. Um, like almost a year ago, I went on 2 dates. That was like the first time I'd ever done that, and it didn't really go anywhere. But I was proud of myself for doing it.
Can
And
you remember how they went?
yeah, so he was very much still involved with his ex. I think. That was
Ooh.
kind of what happened. So we met for coffee, and he was like, "Wow, you look so much like my ex." And then he like left early to talk to her on the phone. And then the next time we went out, we went to the museum, and he left early, and he invited me to this party where his ex was gonna be. And then he just like it was really awkward.
And
But I'm
you're
more
gonna
ready
tell
for next
me
time now.
you're gonna tell me that you never spoke to him again, right?
Yeah, we never. He halfway through that party, he was just like, "I don't think we should see each other anymore," and I was like, "Yeah, probably." So
Oh my gosh. But you said 2 dates. Do you mean 2 dates with the same one guy or 2 different
yeah,
dates? Okay, Ellie.
what?
Okay. So you haven't gone on any other dates outside of that. Is that right?
Mm, no,
Have
I've
you?
been kissed, but like that was twice, and kind of similarly, not really anything.
Now again, you don't have to answer this, but Do you think that you, even if it was not received or acted upon, do you feel like you've ever fallen in love?
Oh, dude, I get crushes all the time. Like, what is even the point if you don't have a crush on someone? I always have a crush on someone.
I love that. I actually love that because it's just that even the feeling of being excited is
Right?
almost addictive and kind of makes you feel alive. So I get that.
Yeah, you gotta have some reason to make your socks match in the morning.
You need to put that on a shirt or something. That I've never heard anyone say that my whole life. I love that. Oh my gosh. I never make my socks match.
Yeah, so
Goodness. Okay. Well then that kind of poses the question, even though now I know your history and where you've come from and where you are now.
yeah.
Regarding this, where would you like to see yourself in 5 years?
Oh god, dude, I don't know. I mean, I have I have like my dream job. Like if this is my job in 5 years, I will be thrilled with myself.
Mm-hmm.
Even if there are no promotions or anything, that would be awesome. I have my own place and I own it, which is
Oh,
something
wow. That's
in New York.
okay. You just keep saying words that are beautiful. Can we pause right there? You own your own home, and that in itself is something that a lot of us, and I know the people that are listening, would give an arm and a leg for. But in New
I did.
York, can you tell
Yeah.
me a little bit about that?
Oh, it's tiny. The process of getting it was hellish,
Mm.
but you know, I've been saving forever. Um, and you know, like I said, like I graduated really young, so I've been working for a few years, and it's not like I really have anything else to put a down payment towards, so
Wow.
I don't travel or anything. So, you know,
Do you want to travel?
I don't really know. I get kind of nervous away from home. Do you get that? It's hard to sleep in unfamiliar beds.
I mm, I used to feel like that for a really long time, but after being in that 9 year relationship I told you about, it was kind of a very unhealthy and controlling environment. So when I left, I ended up traveling to Northern Ireland and going across America
That's
and
incredible.
all sorts of things. And I actually genuinely quite enjoy traveling a lot. I think it brings a lot of experience and opens your mind and soul a little bit, even though it is excruciatingly scary. So I get that.
I've really only ever done it for work. I've only ever like traveled for conferences and stuff.
Where
But maybe it's different.
where's the like furthest part of the world you've traveled?
Um, I've been to. I've actually been to Germany now. I keep forgetting. My friend got married. And she's in Germany. So I went to Germany. I was only there for like a day. Like literally, the plane landed, and then I went to bed, and then I went to the wedding, and then I flew home that night. So I didn't get to explore anything. But before that, I had only ever been to California. That was the farthest I'd ever been.
Well, I mean, Germany is extremely far, and that's a big
Yeah.
jump. Does that experience going all the way there make you want to do it again, like somewhere else in the world, or was that a little bit too much too soon?
I think if I got to stay there longer, it was kind of crazy just like getting there and then leaving
Yeah.
because it made it all feel kind of like a dream. Like I feel like I didn't really get to see anything about Germany. I just like I saw the airport and then I saw my friend's car and then I saw the cabins that we stayed in before the wedding and
Mm-hmm.
then the wedding and then the plane. So like I didn't really get to there was nothing about it that was like Germany. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, that's understandable. What about like, would you ever plan a big trip with a group of friends?
I mean, I'm gonna be going to the UK. I don't know if you've heard.
No. What? Okay, tell me. Hello? Tell me more about
Oh yeah.
that.
to drop off Neurodog, and also just like to see Minnie and Server and everything. I'm gonna be going to the UK. Yeah.
What? Are Minnie? Does Minnie live in the UK?
No, she's coming too. We're just gonna go together.
Hello? Yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
I'll just see myself out. What the heck? I want to.
What?
What the heck?
Why?
Has this been like?
Why?
Does everyone know about this?
It was a subathon goal. Um, and I'm almost done with the dog. God, please, knock wood. And when I finish, we're all gonna go. Yeah,
Wait, whose subathon goal?
it was mine.
When did you have what? When did you have a subathon?
This has been a crazy year. So I lost my job. They laid off my whole department.
Oh,
Like right before my birthday.
oh my God, I'm sorry.
And I had always said like, oh, I can never have a subathon because like I work in robotics and there's like no time off, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then suddenly I was like, okay, subathon while I apply for jobs. So I'm
Okay,
going to be
yeah.
brushing up on interview skills. We're going to do a subathon, and then it ends when the timer runs out or when I get a job. And I got a job. So,
Oh my gosh. What an amazing way to wrap up a subathon. I
yeah,
had no idea. And this
it
was
was wonderful.
before Vettles, right? I'm guessing.
Sorry?
That
Yeah,
one was before Vettles, right?
yeah.
That's
That
probably
was
why.
like in
Okay.
October.
I think I only first started to like know who you are, get to know you. Maybe a Vettles subathon. I think was that the first time?
I'm not sure actually. Um, I had I had watched your content and stuff because like obviously the cooking streams that you'd done with the twins and stuff. Um, but I'm not sure when we started talking, like actually talking, and not just like being aware of each other's existence. You know?
I don't know why I don't like have a memory of that either. I'm like quietly being
Yeah.
like, when did we start? Did we do something together? Oh my gosh, my mind is like completely drawing a blank.
No, same. The last few months haven't felt quite real. I'm not sure what it is. Whether it's just like, well, I guess it's not winter there, is it? So I can't blame it on that.
Oh, it's like peak heat summer. It has been like hot for like 3 or 4 months now. It's been awful.
I'm
But
so jealous.
no, dude,
Do you
don't
like the
be.
winter then?
I like the winter. I like I like both seasons, but at both their extremes, they're not fun here. Like New Zealand doesn't have like central heating or anything like that, so you kind of have to
Oh God,
either build your own fires or have like a personal heater right
build
next to
your
you.
own fires.
Yeah, it's not so bad. Do you know how to build a fire?
I mean, yeah, I was a Boy Scout.
I don't know why I even ask you these things because I think you're just smart and you are
That's not
well
smart.
rounded. No, I think that's pretty smart. A lot of people don't know how to build a fire. Just um, yeah. But no, I agree with you. It feels like the past 3 or so months have just kind of come and went, and then I haven't quite grasped it. Like I don't know how
Yeah,
to even think about it because there was so much in so little time.
for me, it's definitely like the dog project has been so all consuming that, like, I feel like time hasn't been real while it's been happening. And the same thing is kind of true of, like, the winter in general for me. Like, I feel like winter is always, every day is so the same, you know? You don't, like, go out and do things outside. And so days just kind of blend into each other for me.
Yeah, I agree with you on that point. Where just everything, when you're working so hard or you've got a specific routine, everything, it just blends from one day to another. And then the next thing you know, 2 weeks have passed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so go back. So when you're done, when you're done with the dog, you guys are going to the UK. So that must be
Yeah.
pretty soon then, hey?
Yes, we're planning it. I don't know if I can share dates,
No,
but
don't do
we're, it's
that.
in the works, so it's pretty soon.
Dang. Okay, what are you most excited for in going to the UK?
Mostly just seeing my friends But like, that's not a very interesting answer, I guess.
That is
Like,
very much an interesting answer. What do you mean?
just missed everybody. I really want to see Minnie and Sir burn everybody. But
Ha-
like, also
mhm.
the food, which I think is a funny thing to say because people say that they have bad food there. But listen, man, I love potatoes and beans. Those are my favorite foods.
Oh my gosh, I have heard very similar things that their food is very sad and bland. So you definitely tell me how that goes when you guys are there. What about Cerber and Minnie? Have you met them before?
Ah,
And
redacted.
you got it. You got it. I actually that's such a clever way of saying that. I I want to man, if you guys are ever like thinking of traveling again, let me know because I want to meet Minnie and Cerber so bad. And you're someone new that I've been getting to know that dude, you're someone that I continuously want to like pick your brain all the time. I could just listen to
I
you
would
yap
love
for a
to
million
hang.
years.
Minnie and Cerber are like the sweetest people I've ever met. Just like the most perfect angels in the world. And every second that I spend with them is a gift. I would love to meet you.
God, I think that the end of 2024 and the beginning of 2025 have been filled with finding people that are right for me. And
Yeah.
I spent, I think, about 3 years of VTubing kind of just popping around everywhere because there's so many of us as VTubers, but that doesn't mean that we all work as puzzle pieces. And it doesn't mean that we're all in similar places in our lives that we might work well together. So I think that even since like Vedal Sabathon and getting to know
Yeah.
you guys a bit better, I'm like, wait, hold on, okay, I like this, I like the vibes, and I like just the overall. You guys are just super sweet, and
Oh,
I like that a lot.
it's such a nice group of people. I was just talking to Churchy about this. About just like how hard it can be within VTubing to like make genuine friends
Mm.
because there is so much performance and like the how to say it, like the default way that you have to treat VTubers is
Mm.
so like, hey girl, like it's so positive. It makes it hard to tell when someone actually feels positive about you or when it's just like professionalism, you know?
Definitely, I think that I spent a good chunk of my younger 30s trying to figure that out. I think, man, as like human beings, let alone like women, it's already hard enough just uh, walking that path of understanding yourself and making mistakes and growing. But the VTuber sphere, I admit, was tough because there's that level of, I mean, and I'm glad, level of kindness across the board, but that doesn't mean that everyone wants to be your friend, right?
Yeah, and it's really hard to tell. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so much harder than I think I would have thought. It's genuinely really hard to like make friends because it is also there has to be a layer of professionalism, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Even in like close VTuber friendships, there's often a layer of secrecy and like you are business partners in a way. And so like it's really hard to navigate that kind of like disconnect. And I feel really lucky that I've found so many kind people because I was so intimidated for so long.
What do you feel? Has there been any contributors to help you get out of your shell that when you were initially like really nervous to reach out to people?
I mean, honestly, just like you make a couple of good friends and then it snowballs from there. Like, I think it really was just that, you know? Like, I had Bo and Shumi, and then from there, it was like much easier, much easier to get out of my shell and talk to more people because it was like you have the security of knowing that you really have someone on your side anyway, you know?
Yeah, okay, that makes
What
sense.
about you?
Ooh, um, I'd say after a little bit of a understandable falling out a bit ago, I think,
I'm sorry.
dude, I mean that's life. It happens, but it
I guess.
needs to happen so that you have a clearer understanding of your expectations or what you're looking for in friendships, right? So instead of kind of putting a big blanket across people across the board, being like, I want to be friends with everyone, that means that you're not necessarily giving yourself what you might need in friendships or energies that you surround yourself with. So I think after having a clearer understanding and idea of what I wanted, that started to invite that energy or opportunity in. So I met people like Olivia and Mint Castella, that I, meeting people from Camila and meeting you and Minnie, getting to know Vet a little bit better, all of that sort of kind of came along, and I was like, wait, okay, I think that I'm slowly understanding where I fit in all of this and what I would like to be surrounded with. So I think it took a little bit of a falling on my face to get up and be like, okay, I know what I want now, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it often is that way.
Yeah.
That, like, if you are pushing really hard to try and make a friendship work, you're sort of also holding yourself back from all of the friendships that you would have if you weren't spending that time trying so hard to make something work, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree. And, VTubers or not, I definitely think that that's just a part of life. And even if you have good friendships, sometimes as you get older, sometimes friendships just fade. It's just life. So
God, I hope mine don't. I'm so scared of that.
I think that as long as everyone has good communication and patience with each other, I don't think that, well, I think a lot of us are striving for long-term friendships from
I
the
hope
looks
so.
of it. Yeah.
I really hope so. I've talked about it before, but like, VTubing is a dream, and I love doing it, but it isn't like my lifelong career ambition. And like, I don't know how much longer I'll be VTubing, right? If it ever started to get in the way of my robotics career,
Mm.
I would have to leave, but like, I would not want to lose my friends. And there is always that fear that you'll like discover that you were more business associates than you thought if you were to leave VTubing. But I think that I've really found people who would be my friends even if I stopped tomorrow, you know?
Mm. I think that's really important to find above everything else. Like for instance, I have a best friend, IRL, and I think it doesn't matter where I am in my life, she will always be there with me. And that's always tough because I know that there's a big difference between IRL friendships and online friendships. And I don't know quite yet if online friendships can ever be the same
Yeah,
as IRL, but I would like them to be, but that takes a lot more work and effort, meeting them in person, getting to know them beyond, behind a keyboard and a monitor. And I think it's only
yeah.
then that you can hold on and grasp to longer friendships. So, yeah, I think that it just takes time. But once you find those guys, they're there for life, I reckon.
I hope so. Because I love my friends, but I am always so aware of like I don't know, you know, you like remember before you had them. And like thinking back, it's like, how did I even do that? Like, how did I even make it without them? And I just wouldn't want to go back to that, you know?
Mm. No, I agree with that. I think it's best to try to treasure the things that you have now and then just work on keeping them and improving them and nurturing them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What about triggers? Do you have any like particular ASMR triggers that you like?
Yeah. I mean, okay, so my favorite kinds of ASMR, I love hair brushing. Um, I love like sister does your hair type ASMR. Um, I love car noise. This is like weird, but like, did you ever used to fall asleep in the back of a car
N-
when you were like a
no.
kid? Oh my gosh. Okay. We would go on like we were always just like always driving. Like we had these really long drives because we went to a school that my mom worked at, but it was pretty far away from my house. So it was like 45 minutes to an hour both ways. So like driving and being in the car was like such a big part of like being a kid, I guess. And I love ASMR. That's like the sound of like the road and the wheels. And you can just like put yourself in that space where there's like nothing you should be doing, nothing you could possibly worry about because you're in the car right now. You can't be doing your homework, you know?
Hmm.
And
Okay.
I love like music from another room. Does that make sense? Like when you can hear music, but it's sort of far away.
I've never even heard of that being like an
Mm-hmm.
ASMR thing. That's actually really cool. Okay.
And whispering, I guess, is just basic. But yeah, I like whispering. What about you?
I actually have been for the longest time a die-hard anti-ASMR person. Um,
What?
yeah, I actually I'm pretty sure I have misophonia. There's just
Oh,
like if someone is repetitively tapping or chewing sounds or especially licking, like if my dog or
ugh,
cat like
yeah.
licks too often, I get really like, ugh, stop, you know? Um, and I've had a pretty unfortunately visceral reaction every time I hear ASMR, and I try to be open minded. But recently, when I went on my journey of just saying if there was anything I liked, the only thing that I found that I liked is the water globes, the little
Oh, they're lovely,
baubles.
aren't they? Yeah, I love the like gloop gloop gloop.
I love them, and I don't even know why, but and then I was like, okay, I will make this channel. I will try triggers and see what I like and don't like. And I still haven't really found anything else. I think it just, I will do it, but I don't enjoy listening to it. Yeah.
That's so interesting. I have sounds that really upset me, but they're not classic ASMR sounds. Like when people click their nails, I don't even know how else to explain it, but when they're like cleaning under their nail or something and their nails make like a clicking sound, I hate it so much. I hate it so much.
Oh,
It
wow.
like upsets me. It makes me like I have to leave the room. So I do understand to some extent the like about sounds, but I like most ASMR sounds as long as they're not wet. I don't like I don't like the wet mouth sounds. That's not for me.
I don't either. And I keep on, it's almost fascinating in a way though, because if you take like a moment to scroll through TikTok ASMR, that's all it is. And it's not even
Yeah,
the licking thing. It's they'll make their lips really wet and do this like ticking sound and then like
yeah.
mouth
I know the one
sounds.
you're talking about, yeah.
And I can't
So
wrap my brain around how that even started or why it's a thing.
so this is the side of my cello rosin, and I just want to know what you think of this. I'll stop instantly if you don't like it, but I'm just curious.
Okay.
Because I love that sound.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
I love that sound.
What
I'm
is
trying to
it?
think what else I have. Do you like soft brushy sounds? Like do you like brushes on a mic or
I don't know if I like that, but I know that a lot of the listeners do. They love that. So go, man, go ahead. Feel free.
well, I don't want to do it if you're not.
No, please, please. This channel's for them, not for me.
Because I love that sound. That's like so warm and cozy. I don't know.
Can you do it a little bit harder? I can't quite. I want to hear more of it.
Yeah, sure. Right? I don't know. It's just cozy.
I can see why people like that. Actually, I don't. Can you do it for like 30 seconds? Is that gonna be weird if we sit here quietly while you brush?
I don't know.
Give it a shot.
I feel funny because I'm not excellent at ASMR. I really just got started. I'm someone who loves ASMR and always has, for actually very similar reasons to why I love horror, which I know you also love. But, I. I'm not good at it. I don't have a ton of practice.
But you have to start somewhere, right? Like that's how people get anywhere. Oh, actually, I kind of like that.
Right? Isn't that kind of calming?
I don't mind it actually.
I mean, the origins of ASMR, like evolutionarily, the reason why we have that response is that it's part of our like grooming behavior, you know? So when we had fur, right? When we were apes with fur and we
Mm-hmm.
would groom each other, right? The way that chimps do. Um you want, because that's part of social bonding. You want there to be like a response to that that's positive. And so it's like part of the same response as, okay, when you get your hair cut and they like wash your hair for you at the place, do you get that like chills thing? Right?
I do. I actually love that when they also want to like give you a little massage at the end. Oh gosh, like I wish
So
that was.
ASMR.
Sorry, keep going.
Oh,
Yeah,
go
yeah.
ahead.
No, I was just kind of. I was living in the moment. Go
No,
for it.
please, please. Bring us back there.
No, just that I wish that that came like with partnership where you just knew that okay, we're together and we're gonna rub each other's heads all the time, brush each other's hair. Like that's like one
I
of the
mean,
first things I'd want someone to do or learn how to do is like, can you brush my hair, please?
you make the rules. It's your relationship.
But please go on. I like hearing these facts.
Oh, just that's the same response as ASMR, you know? People have this idea that ASMR is, you know, because I think there is a lot of that content now. But ASMR is really just part of our bonding response. Um, and like that feeling that we get from being spoken to softly is just like the feeling that we're supposed to get when someone is taking care of us, you know?
That makes a lot of sense actually, because when I first started this channel, and the reason why I don't really do it live is because I can't get that same amount of understanding or feedback. But when I read the comments, people are like, I feel safe and I feel like I can actually sleep and I leave you on and I'm able to close my eyes and know that I'm not alone. A lot of those similar feelings. So what you're saying makes a lot of sense.
And that's what I love about it, and that's also what I love about horror. Like, I think that horror as a behavior, as a shared behavior, because humans love to come together and get freaked out together, you know? Like, that is kind of the foundation of part of how we bond, right? Part of how we bond as humans is getting scared together, right? And the intimacy that that brings, and like the togetherness and the trust that's necessary to do that with a group of people. Um, and I mean, even if you think about like the physiological responses that we have, right? You get chills down the back of your neck from ASMR, but you also get chills down the back of your neck from horror. I think that they're sort of related in my head.
I've
That
never
makes
thought
sense.
about that. I mean, because I've been doing horror for like 4 or 5 years now, and the most
Yeah,
people mostly are like, I don't like this. But when I was able to find my own voice and ensure that the environment that everyone was in was comfortable, then people felt okay to be scared. So again, what you're saying makes a lot of sense actually. And I I know that I mentioned this before we started recording, but I didn't even really know that you liked horror because I'm going to throw them under the bus. But I had been asking Cerber and Minnie for weeks to do a collab together because I wanted to do something horror related, and I asked if you wanted to come along, and they were like, "No, Ellie doesn't like horror," and I was like, "Oh, okay." So
that's so strange.
I never reached out. So then
I'm so
eventually
surprised.
I was like, Ellie, uh, would you do this? Because like I want to do something with you and everyone. And then you're like, I love horror. So can you kind of guide me through that? Like when you started liking horror, why do you like horror? What things about horror you like?
Totally. So I guess my first experiences of horror were when I was a kid. I was in this choir, And at night, right? Because we would go to school during the day, like obviously, but we were like little kids, and all of our concerts would be at these old spooky churches. And so it would be like nighttime after school. We'd be in our choir dresses. We'd have our hair pulled back tight, and we'd be in the basements of these spooky churches, just like killing time until we were brought in during the mass. And I loved it. I just loved how spooky it was, and I loved the way that it like bonded us together.
Mm.
I was a really shy kid, and I didn't talk much. But when everyone would start getting freaked out, it was like everyone was kind of in this together, right? Like everyone was bonded. You didn't even have to talk because you were just like comforting by virtue of being there, you know?
Mm.
And like, also, it's just like a fun feeling to be like scared together, you know?
Yeah, I completely
And
agree with that.
then I started seeking it out on my own because I saw not even like I saw like the trailer for The Grudge, and I remember being like, wow, I want to watch this every day. And so I went to my school library and I asked them what they had for horror, and they had no actual horror. They only had this like book about horror. They had like a book about a history of American horror stories. And I was obsessed with it. I was just like enthralled with it. And it had all of this analysis about like what are cultural fears, what our horror stories have to say about our culture, about our shared experience, like what it says about us, what we fear.
Mm.
And I was just like addicted after that. Campfire stories, etc. Just like the way that it brings people together, and also being kind of a spooky, shy kid, knowing that people liked it, you know? There
Yeah.
was a way that it made me feel like people could like the spooky, weird parts of me, you know?
Man, I wish I knew that sooner. I would have, like, touched base with you a million years ago. I think that I don't feel this way anymore by any means, but when I started VTubing, and I've always been like a horror creator, I always felt like a lot of people avoided me for the longest time because either like, ew, that's really weird, or she seems really scary, or standoffish, or I don't like horror, so I don't wouldn't have any connections to like with her. So it like was tough for the longest time finding friendships. So if
Oh,
anyone ever says it like horror, I will be like, hey, do you want to hang out? You know. So I'm glad to hear that you like horror. What about like
yeah.
media? Do you have? I know people ask me this all the time, and I kind of hate the question, but I'm gonna ask you: do you have any? What's there like top 3 horror movies that you like?
So I love movies that kind of teeter on the edge of horror, right? Like I'll say Let the Right One In, A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, Under the Shadow. Those are all like not strict horror, but I love them. I think The Babadook is like obviously just an absolute masterpiece. Skinamarink, oh my god, that's like one of my favorite movies ever. What about you?
Hmm. I think it's tough because I grew up really enjoying horror. So I think even though that I have watched plenty of films that are recent that are quite good, I'm still very much a nostalgic type person. Like I really like Candyman and Hellraiser and Carrie and Nightmare on Elm Street, Pet Cemetery,
Oh,
those things. Just because I think that they really pushed me into a different world. But I do think Babadook was amazing, and I I think there was only one part of Skinamarink that I enjoyed, but the rest of it was almost. I think you have a genre of horror that's almost like an art piece, you know, rather than things that tell a story, and that's okay. I mean, I think it did have its own story in its own way,
oh yeah,
but
for sure.
I I don't know. I think I like horror in a way. I like body horror quite a lot, but I don't
Hmm.
like things like Saw and stuff. Like I like Saw, but that's not like my cup of tea. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
I think anything that's like psychological, I love paranormal, I love alien abductions, all of that sort of stuff. Like the whole, have you ever seen Marble Hornets?
I have not. No.
Oh my gosh. Okay, you and I should get together sometime on a stream and watch some like ARG stuff. Do you like
I would love
ARGs?
that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Love
Okay.
that.
There is actually an ARG on YouTube called I Am Sophie. And I think I've watched the whole thing like twice on my channel, but they went silent for I think like a handful of years, and they just posted a new video on the channel like the other day and a new Instagram, and I'm like putting my detective hat on because it was one of the best ARGs I've ever done with my community, where you can look on a website and then you have to click a certain button to look at all the layout of the website to find a certain like number to take you somewhere else to open an image, and then you put images together to make a symbol, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
nothing makes me happier. I love ARGs so much. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Again, because they're so communal, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that horror works best when it draws in people, right? When you're doing it with people. And that's like a form of media where that is like definitionally done collaboratively, you know?
Mm-hmm. Enjoying it together always feels like the best, like, type of horror.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm gonna swap topics real quick. You do music, right?
Yes.
When did you start making music?
I was really young. My family, like, when I was a kid, me and my sisters, we were a band, and we would like perform at churches and festivals and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so that makes a lot of sense because I actually recently checked out your channel and you have a lot of music, and I'm just like, whoa, she's brilliant. And it's not just like a newfounded thing, like you know exactly what you're doing, and it's
I wouldn't say
wonderful.
that.
No, yes, well, you should say that because that's how it sounds. It sounds like you've been doing this for a long time and you're very passionate about it.
I love it a lot. It's also about connection, you know? Like music is magic, man. If you're playing music in a room, you are like changing the behaviors of everyone in that room. You are connected with them even if you're not talking with them.
I kind of get the vibe from you that you're very much like, uh, you just in general like connecting with other people, and if there is something that allows you to connect with others, you enjoy it. So like music, ASMR, horror, things like that.
Yeah.
Where do you think that's come from?
I mean, I was a really weird kid. I was extremely lonely. I didn't really figure out how to connect with people properly and like make friends until college. So like my whole life, I just I didn't know if I ever would, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't know if I would ever properly have like friends to go hang out with after school or after work. But when you play music with people, when you go to a jam, you don't need to know how to talk. You just need to know how to play. And the same thing when you're like working on a big project with someone, when you're doing robotics, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You have a shared goal, and so that's what's bonding you. And so even if you're not sure how to like have a normal conversation, you can still have a connection. Um, and I'm so glad that I've figured out at this point mostly how to interact. But for a long time, yeah, I was just kind of looking for any way to connect with people.
Wow. Okay. I definitely think that now that I'm thinking about it, I didn't quite. I'm trying to figure out how to put this. Feel connected or drawn in yet, because we're very new in knowing who we were with each other, until I was listening to your ASMR streams, and when you were singing and speaking, I felt very connected. I felt like you're very easy to listen to, and I wanted to talk to you more because you just felt very easy to connect to.
Thank you.
So after that, that's why I was like, do you want to do something? Because I just want to pick your brain and get to know you more, get to know you better. So again, thank you so much for
So
being.
glad you reached out.
Yeah, this has been awesome. But I have a request and you can say no.
Sure.
How would you feel about singing a song?
Sure. I'll go get an instrument. I'll be right back.
Okay, oh, I'm so excited. I don't have any requests beyond sing something that you feel is really meaningful to you every time you sing it.
Okay. I got something then. Oh god. Okay, there we go. There's a wire. Okay. Okay, starting now. If you'll be my star, I'll be your sky. You can hide underneath me and come out at night. When I turn jet black and you show off your light, I'll live to let you shine. I'll live to let you shine. But you can skyrocket away from me and never come back if you find another galaxy far from here with more room to fly. Just leave me your stardust to remember you by. If you'll be my boat, I'll be your sea. A depth of pure blue just to probe curiosity, ebbing and flowing, unpushed by a breeze. I'll live to make you free. I'll live to make you free. But you can set sail to the west if you want to, past the horizon till I can't even see you. Far from here where the beaches are wide, just leave me your wake to remember you by. If you'll be my star, I'll be your sky. You can hide underneath me and come out at night. Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, I'm like in tears.
Oh. I'm honored. I don't know. I love that song.
I have never heard of that song before. Is this something you wrote or something that you covered?
No, that's a cover. That's Boats and Birds by Gregory and the Hawk. When I was a kid, my sisters were much older than I was, and we shared a room. And my sister was getting ready to go off to college, and I was like mad at her for leaving. Like I was gonna miss her so much that I was just like mad at her for leaving. And so she was packing, and I was trying to go to sleep because like I had school. And she was packing like really loudly, and I was like, oh my god, can you at least play some music if you're gonna be like packing so loudly? And I just meant like put on music on your laptop, but I guess she like misunderstood, and she got her guitar out and she played me that song.
Oh.
And I was like, yeah. So
Can I ask how many siblings do you have?
I have 2 older sisters.
You know, after speaking with you today and like getting to actually pick your brain and understand you a bit better, everything is adding up. Everything makes sense, I think.
Really?
Yes, I think I'm trying to put together what my brain is thinking, but even though you've been put in an environment where you needed to grow up quickly because of what you were surrounded with, it seems to me, and you know, I might be wrong, but you've still been surrounded by a lot of love,
Oh,
and
yes.
it
Been really
shows.
lucky.
Yeah, it definitely shows, and I think that you put a lot of that love and response and care into everything around you, and your passion is, you just ooze passion, and when people come into your life, you just like like a just wrap your arms around them emotionally so almost instantaneously. It's crazy, um in the best of ways. So it kind of makes sense. I was so curious as to how that came to be, and I appreciate you so much for being so open to answer all these
Anytime.
questions. Goodness, did you do you, I was gonna ask if you had anything else that you want to say or impart on the people listening.
I had some questions for you, but I think we covered a lot of them. But I'd love to know more. Um, but if we're wrapping up, then
You know, we can, I mean, if you ever wanted to come back, we can always save that for another time.
I would love that then.
Oh my gosh, I had the best time, like I said, and I don't know if
Me
the
too.
viewers know this, but I have never even considered or done like a gentle speaking with anyone else. And like I said, when I saw you do it on your channel, I was like, oh, I want to do this. But speaking of, could you do me a favor and tell
Of course.
everyone where they can find you?
um, Mostly at twitch.tv slash Ellie underscore minibot. But I don't know, really anywhere, man. My DMs are open, maybe regrettably. They can find me all over.
You have your DMs open?
Yeah, I'm a fearless woman.
Oh my gosh. Okay. With that, to everyone who is listening, thank you so much for listening to the first little set of interviews here on the channel with people that I really, really admire and want to get to know better. And let us know below what you thought. And if you have any questions for Ellie, please feel free to write them below. But in the meantime, have a relaxing night, and I hope that you can get some sleep tonight.